Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing a little bit different review format on this game, but then it's a little bit of a different game. It definitely showcases some of the power of indie game making. I didn't pick this one up until Matt Pat recommended it on the Game Theory channel, just talking about how it's very much examines some of the things in visual novels and makes a distinct horror game. And after playing it, I have to agree with them. It's a great game. The game I'm referring to is called Doki Doki Literature Club. Doki Doki is a Japanese onomatopoeia. It basically means when your heart rate's really pumping, usually because you're nervous or anxious. So, heart pounding literature club would be a good way of saying it, and it's a perfect name for a really cheesy visual novel slash dating sim. And I've avoided these types of games for most of my life, mainly because getting into these types of fantasies, especially if you're someone who's for the most part has been a loner most of his life, is a bad thing, because you can get stuck on fantasy people who are two-dimensional, people who are almost perfectly made for you and yet aren't real. And that can be very dangerous. Another YouTuber also connected to the Game Theory channel, Gaijin Goomba, has talked about it at length, and Japanese society really falling into these traps with some of these games. And Doki Doki Literature Club kind of experiments with this just a little bit. It starts off, basically what you expect from a visual novel dating sim. Your best friend who looks kind of like an American mixed anime character, and that's something I do have to point out. Whenever Western companies try to do actual anime characters, they get stuck in the uncanny valley, and that's no different here, but this time it actually works because it does, the artwork does actually enhance the experience. Anyways, your best friend here invites you to this club where there's three other women and her, and then there's also the president, which you won't be able to ever pick up because she's just there to kind of be the MC. But it starts off like what you expect on these silly visual novels. You got yourself a harem of girls here, and that's what you expect, and you pick the one you choose during middle of the chapters by, quote, writing a poem by picking the words that each girl likes to hear, and that's how you end up with them, as well as a few other choices. However, it's not simple because they threw in a bit of a loop. Now, usually, I guess in these visual novels, there's always one or two problems. Here, there's some severe problems, and it doesn't just coat over them, because things get dark when one of the girls commits suicide due to having lifelong depression. And then the game goes from dark to really freaking weird in the second act, as things just get glitchy in the game. People disappear. The girl that commits suicide is no longer part of the game's story. And that's actually perfect satire on some of the games I have played that have had these dating sim qualities to them. You pick a girl, you go after her, you complete her version of the story, and then the game kind of encourages you to restart, forget about her, and choose one of her friends in the storyline. Galgun does that. Here it just deletes the character completely and has you go after another one whose whole obsessiveness is cranked up a whole lot. And then eventually, after you complete a few more acts, you find out what the real villain is, what she's really after, and what's going on. And you do feel a little sympathetic for her. She found out that, she is a video game character. She finds out that the way the game has scripted her is to where she has to watch these three 3 or 4 friends, what she considers her best friends, just fall in love with a guy for no other reason than that's what they're scripted to do. And she's kind of just fed up with it, and she also wants to have a chance to fall in love with someone, so that's why she's doing it. And the way you stop her really breaks the fourth wall. I won't spoil it, but it does involve doing things that aren't actually part of playing most video games. In fact, most video game companies would very much like to say, don't go check out the some of our source code, because damaging that can screw up your game, and that's what you have to do here to stop her. So I thought it was a really unique experience. And one of the things I also want to talk about, and to really make it a ghost story, to make it this really interesting experience, the game does remove itself from the Steam library once you're done with it, okay? Once you're done, it deletes itself completely off your computer, removes itself from your Steam library, so you have to go re-download it. Because of that, it is, of course, naturally free. You don't have to pay a dime on this. There's no microtransactions, there's no loot boxes. Everything in the game is free. It's free to experience it. However, the game developers have found an interesting way of actually monetizing this, and I appreciate this way. I think this is how games in the future should be monetized, and that is, if you go look, there's a bunch of wallpaper, music tracks, avatars and stuff that you can purchase, and give them $10 if you want them. Now, quite frankly, I don't want to give them $10. Good game. Don't think it's worth $10 though. But I like the idea of, if you like our product, here's how you can give us some money, and it's stuff that actually has more value than you can find in most of these freaking loot boxes that I see in games anymore. So, kudos to the people who made this. You made a great game. You made a very surreal horror game. You made a really great basically game questioning about the visual novels, their really bad side to them. They're good and their bad side, especially that dark side to them, and just giving people something else to really think about who might be into these dating sims. And like I said, it was a really great experience. Definitely recommend it. This is Tommy the Game Master, thanking you for listening to this unscripted review rant. I'll see you guys later.